Yeah. You already know. It's Copper Copper. Young millionaires. The general. Okay, I wake up every day. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. Every day I'm getting paid. Man, this life is going great. I just wanna celebrate. I made it in and out of state. $1 million in the case. I got it hidden somewhere safe. I multiply all my millions and really I am extremely wealthy. I distributed my millions with my family. This is just the beginning. I purchased a Lamborghini, driving around the city. Believe me, you haven't seen me. Made it through all the struggle, defeated all of my rivals. I was never entitled, I had to fight for survival. Man, this life is amazing, it's crazy that well we made it. Now I'm living my dreams and I'm barely just getting started. I made it through the struggle back when I was very worried. Now I'm chilling, get my condo, Lamborghinis and Bugatti. I know you in a hurry, but I promise don't be worried. When you see me in a club, I probably got enough to party. I'm a multi-millionaire, getting money everywhere. I ain't tripping on nobody, I just came to celebrate. Yeah, we got the party popping, got the general over here, throwing money in the air, cause we get it every day. I multiply all my millions, now me and my people winning. Moving city to city, I promise that you will see me driving a Lamborghini, but this is just the beginning. $1 million Bugatti, I'm stacking money in the ceiling. Multiply all my millions, now me and my people winning. Moving city to city, I promise that you will see me driving a Lamborghini, but this is just the beginning. $1 million Bugatti, I'm stacking money in the ceiling.
The Truth Podcast, live from the grill here in San Mateo. You're here with the General, the Little Winston, and the Big John. What's up, guys?
Back at it. What's going on?
Hey, I just got back from the sunny weather, man.
You came for the beach. I was telling him yesterday. You came for the beach. Now you're coming to the freaking winter wonderland.
That's what I told myself. I better stay. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What's going on?
Hey, cool, man. You know what's funny is I got an opportunity when you're out there, kind of checking out life and meditating and really thinking about what you're thankful for and just kind of looking around on what's going on in life. Today's podcast is going to be freaking epic. And what it was is you're starting to see around the environment, and we've kind of touched upon this in past podcasts, very little. But have you guys ever heard the term gas lamping?
Gaslighting in 1984, George Orwell, gaslighting.
So what did you get from gaslighting? That
concept is to where you continually say lie to a person and they start to believe that lie no matter how false it is. I think George Orwell used that concept of this sort of society that breaks down, that where their overlords or their leaders just continually lie to them, and tell them that, this is a certain way, but I mean, if you look at American history, for the most part, our society is just a riddle book. Our history books are just riddled with those concepts. You have, even look from the founding, you have people that flee Europe that come here escaping religious persecution, and then they turn right around and persecute other people, and they say, well, that religion's bad or those people are bad, and they convince their followers that that's the truth rather than what really is the truth.
So this makes sense. So the reason I got the word gas lamp, and this is where my trainer came up with this, right? And so let me tell you with this. So when you're gaslighting, then you're taking a concept that was already built and then continue it as a bullshit story. This is actually so what I think he meant by gas lamping, because I was looking at some of my own notes, was creating these new small lanterns and seeing are you going to make them grow. So what I like to call it is, have you guys ever heard of the story of Johnny Appleseed? You know, it's kind of a little cartoony. Johnny Appleseed went around the country planting apples, and that's how all the apple trees grew. And basically, the U.S. is kind of a funny story. It's a fable, right? Johnny Appleseed. One of the things what I wanted to think about is the people that you got to be careful, right? And I tell this to a lot of people, especially coming up in the game, like yourself, Carson, who's still coming up. You're kind of got that mark, but you still have to etch it in. And it's weird because even an individual on my level who's been around for so long, winning, right? And as I use the famous, I teach you guys all the time, to say, you know what do me, 50 Cent and LeBron James have in common? We all came out in 03. But the crazy part is we have to continue to always be putting fuel to our fire, right? And one of the things that I was thinking about myself is when we talk about the gardening situation. But like I brought this up a while back and said, when you water from the acequia, a lot of different seeds are coming in that acequia water, and then whatever lands in your ground, if that sucker's not planted strong, that seed will take strength in it. And all of a sudden, it could be a bad plant. It could be a freaking Chinese elm, shit that you don't want, and now you're dealing with it, right? So what I want to really touch on today is really watching the type of people that you bring into your life. And I want to break this in really specific. And what type of seeds are they trying to plant in you? And what seeds are they planting around in your camp? So we tend to become very trusting and bring someone into our camp. And I'm foolish to this all the time. Mm-hmm. Bringing someone in, allowing them in, and then you open to the door and you're introducing them to the top 5 people that you actually communicate with on a full-time basis, right? Mm-hmm. And so one of the things that I've noticed in my life, and this has happened to me in 15 years strong, is I'll bring someone into my life, and all of a sudden, they're trying to plant their seeds or their agendas into my garden to see if they can, if that seed is going to grow, so they can get what they want out of me. If that doesn't happen, then like by their own nature, right? I've heard told you guys a story of the scorpion and the frog. Yeah. In the last, I did, right? Yeah. And so they can't help themselves in their nature, so they do stuff like this. So let's say you're my friend, right? Carson, you're close to me, and you're like, and I'm like, hey, dude, pick me up or do this, and you do it. But imagine if I bring someone in my life, and then they put in your mind like, man, you know what? I know you're close with the general, but man, I wouldn't pick him up at 9 o'clock at the airport or something like that. And all of a sudden they're putting that seed, and you're wondering, well, where the fuck are they saying that, right? Mm-hmm. But the crazy part is I'm the one that brought them into the camp. Mm-hmm. So if you have that individual and they're doing that, but they can't actually penetrate you, what seeds are they planting around you? Right. And is it a good thing or a bad thing? So let's think of
or even your original analogy of a lamp. For a fire to continue, you have to continue adding fuel.
The right fuel.
The right fuel. Right. And if you throw a green log on there, what's going to happen? It's not going to burn well, or it could smoke and die, whatever. Or if it's a certain type of lantern, you have to put a certain type of fuel in there. So it's very similar to the same, that type of lamp. You have to keep that fire going. You have to continue to feed it in just like you said, the right fuel.
And so what it is this is why they talk about the different levels of different fires, right? Like an orange fire, what we normally see, is really not the hottest flame. It's a blue flame, but once you get to a blue flame, it can melt metal. It can pretty much cut anything. Right. But when you think about that, it's very constant, right? The blue flame is very small, but very constant. So one of the things that I was noticing, what I've always noticed in my life is I always tend to find people in my life making comments, and I call it, the gas lamping. Am I trying to light a lamp for someone that you haven't seen? So if you know me, then what I could actually do is you start to question and say, well, fuck, is this guy really in my camp? Or is a general actually being good for me? Or is he bad? Or, you know what I'm trying to tell you? For sure. So you ask yourself, what do you do in that situation? And so do you just annihilate them? Or so I know the answer to this question, right? So today I want to kind of get a dialogue from all three of us and what's going in. And what do you think, and kind of I want you to share an experience of what I've just kind of laid out that you've kind of experienced. I mean, you don't have to give names if you don't want to. I mean, I'll fucking lay names on. I don't give a shit. Everyone knows me about that. But I think that you start to sit there and you think, well, what's the agenda, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
If someone's sitting there with you and say, I want you to trust me, I wouldn't fuck you over. Immediately, what my mind says is, you're trying to fuck me over, but you're trying to use neuro-linguistic programming to convince me that you're not going to fuck me over.
With all due respect.
Yeah.
You know that, you're going to get kicked in the balls.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think are you easing the pain? Are you saying get ready? Or are you giving the opportunity?
Yeah.
And so there's a big difference between saying, hey, look, I'm going to fuck you up. Then I sucker punch you, right? Well, I still want to get notes so I can defend myself.
Sure.
But do you understand what I'm trying to tell you?
Yeah, I get you.
So
I guess you're saying, how do you react to the situations that occur when that happens?
Yeah. What do you think? How do you react? And what do you think you should do, I guess, better? But where do you come to the point where you're not so walled up that you're kind of just in your own environment?
So
right?
like at the same time where you're not shutting that person out, but at the same time, you're not. I guess my thing with that would be, I would know where to place that person, right? And we've had the conversation to where, if we're playing chess and I'm like, okay, this person's this piece, this person's this piece, this person's this piece, and you kind of know where they're at, and you know what doors they can get access to in your life and what doors they don't have access to, right? Like giving people key cards to your life and things that you do or when you spend time with them or whatever the case may be. One thing for me that I could say is, I would probably be like, okay, now I know where to put you, and here's the involvement you're going to get or the time you're going to get from me, which is going to be very minimal. My thing is, I would never change my agenda unless I know it's constructive criticism for someone else.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if I know that I'm doing something either one, because I want to, two, because it's the right thing to do and it follows my moral code, then I'm going to continue doing that. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I'm not going to let someone come in to give their opinion on me, unless, of course, it's to help me get further and they have a backing of a reasoning why they're giving me this information. Then to me, it's just nonsense. It's either one, jealousy, because they can be close to the individual, right? So say, for example, with our relationship, right, and someone comes in and says, God, why are you going to pick him up this late? Or why do you always answer his calls past this time or something like that? Not that no one said that, but you know what I mean? Giving an example. For me, I would just say, well, that's a loyalty in a relationship, and that's not something that you truly get. Jack's more like a brother to me rather than an acquaintance. I wouldn't even really call Jack a friend, but more like brotherhood, and that's the type of loyalty that you give to someone who you have that bond with versus a friend or versus an acquaintance or anything like that. You know what I mean? So I just really don't let that stuff affect me, I guess.
What's crazy is like, me and Michael had this conversation. We're talking about, knowing when and where to have to draw the line in like certain respectful things, no matter what the fuck, right? And we're talking about, we talk about the bro code and saying, look, if I've dated this girl, you've dated that girl, like she's off limits, or if we were all friends at one time, and the bros, though, there's no fucking stepping out there and saying, hey, I'm going to go help you fucking shop at Walmart. Like, that doesn't make any sense, right? But some of the common sense issues, you're saying, what the fuck's wrong with this? But, the thing about it, it's still a very respectful situation. But what I guess what I'm saying is that we would assume that people know this shit. But I'm gonna tell you right now that I'm fucking.
The sad thing is, it's not there.
It's not there.
No, and that's why me and you kind of laughed about certain individuals and said we're just gonna go like these guys and just share everything, and jokingly,
Watch, have you guys ever seen that bank robber movie, The Town?
Yeah, I've seen that.
Ben Affleck. Have you ever seen it? And Jeremy Renner.
It's a good movie.
I have a clip that goes sort of perfect with what you guys are talking about.
Okay.
Watch, let me play it. Let me make sure my audio is right.
I need your help. I can't tell you what it is. You can never ask me about it later, and we're going to hurt some people. Which car are we going to take?
Yeah, I've seen that. And that's the type of that's someone knowing exactly where the individual is involved in their life, right?
Yeah.
Because the guy's like, that's like Jack saying, hey, we got to go, do something. Here's what's going to happen. All right, well, are we taking a truck or a car? You know what I mean? That's kind of I'm not really going to ask too much. Like, all right, here we go. You pick up and go. But
or question his motives.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, because you just kind of have that instinct.
Yeah, because I think I compartmentalize friends in those two camps. Okay, who's going to help me better body, and versus who I'm going to keep at an arm's distance.
Yeah, who you're not even going to tell, what your agenda is.
Because that fucker's going to sell you when they get to the $10,000 reward.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I'm trying to say?
Oh yeah, they're going to cause an issue, or you know what I mean. And that's where I'm saying it's unfortunate that we have to be like this with people and expect the lowest of people. And then you have the individuals who you share morale with or share an agenda, I guess, with, or have the same like-minded things, right? And you kind of know where boundaries are. And then sometimes you'll have the conversations, here's what I expect, here's the way things are. And then, sometimes people get in a relationship or friendship and they're like, God, this guy's a freaking jerk and this and that. And then it just dies, because there's no mutual give and take, I guess.
Yes. But I think the thing about this is what we're talking about is that there's individuals that are like, and we talk either like a semi-gossip, and it's like, well, I can't believe you have this relationship with him because I couldn't do that for him.
Yeah.
And you're wondering, then you're thinking to myself, well, why the fuck would you even say that? Because I could literally be your lifeline, fucking literally stop your lifeline. And so like I've always, so I guess I come more from, I'm literally more old school. And I really come from like that real street mentality where I just keep your mouth shut. You know what I'm trying to say? Yeah. Let's talk. No, you know. And I think that what's happened in today's society, people throw things like, I know him, I do this, and you don't know shit, right? Yeah. And at the end of the day, what are you really talking about? But what I've learned is that even for myself at a very young age, I learned what seeds am I start. I used to think about what fires am I starting. And could that wildfire get out of whack in no time?
Right.
And so I don't tend to start fires about anything. I don't give a shit. And it goes back to that old saying my mother used to tell me: if you don't have anything positive to say, don't say it at all.
Yeah.
Right.
I agree 1,000%. And it's funny. Me and Aiden were actually having this conversation the other day because there's some people that I affiliate with in business, right? And they're in our culture, and it's any culture. In real estate, there's just a lot of gossip, and there's a he said, she said, or who's dating who, and who is this, and blah, blah, blah. And the one thing with me is a lot of people don't know really anything about me. And it's like we said on the last episode, where I'm really trying to be like Batman, where people just know I'm Batman, but they don't really know he's Bruce Wayne at the same time. Yeah, you know what I mean? They're two different identities. Yeah. So there's the people who know Carson, and then there's the people who know Carson who sells real estate. You know what I mean? Because I try to keep things very private with myself, almost like LeBron James or Drake. You never hear anything bad about them.
No.
Did they probably do some stuff? Yeah, I'm pretty sure they slipped up enough, but they have the resources to hide up things. You know what I mean? And that's kind of where I'm at in my life is I try not to, one, start those fires, like you said. And if I don't have anything good to say, just shut my mouth. And second of all, if someone starts gossiping, I'm just like, they get my vibe instantly. I really don't give into it because it just causes issues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the greatest things. I think when you start talking too much, I call it double talk. One thing I realized about a lot of people who are full of shit, they just continue talking to see if you're going to fucking slip, like give them information.
Yeah, exactly.
Or they're going to give you information or they're going to slip in that seed that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And one of my famous lines that I want to leave today's podcast is you can't fucking plant on concrete. Yeah. On concrete, baby. You know what I mean? There's no growing on me. Yeah. So you put that seed on there, it's going to die. The sun's going to kill it. Water ain't going to do shit.
Yeah.
But I think that it's tough because so many minds are so feeble and they actually think that they can get away with that because they've been messing with lightweights, right? They never hit a heavyweight.
Yeah, sure.
Heavyweights don't, like you said, open up. So I like that you use the thing like Batman. So I started off like Batman, and today's agenda in the world, I'm more like Tony Stark, right? I'm like fucking Iron Man. So I'm Iron Man. I create this shit.
Yeah,
and that's what I do. So I'm like Iron Man, right?
Yeah.
And we laugh about this. And I still think at the end of the day, like you're not going to get to me. Like I think for my kind of personality, I don't know how many people I've like literally sat with them and I've told them over and over, this is who I am. This is how I operate. This isn't a fucking show.
Right.
This is what you're going to get. This is what I'm not going to do. And it's crazy because people will think, is it really him after I've told you?
Yeah, and then they get mad after the fact when something happens, right? That you already told them, set an expectation on.
Yeah.
And that's the craziest thing. And that's why I say a lot of times if someone were to come and say, why do you do certain things for this person? one, I think it's almost out of jealousy because we've had the conversation where we've been sitting down. You've witnessed it.
Yeah.
And they were like, how come you're going on all the trips with him and we never get the call? And it's like, I kind of know that's coming out of being pissed off at me, but that's not my fault. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I get what that is. And it's just people getting jealous because they don't have a bond with someone like that, I guess. Maybe, I don't know.
Well, the thing about it is that they don't put the work. And what people, it's really simple, right? I was, for the Super Bowl, I was showing people like martial arts.
Oh yeah, that was getting wild,
right? And so
and we all witnessed what was going on, and it's like, come on, dude,
right? But when you really think about that concept and see what's going on, is I'm going to show you what to do and what not to do. But if you're going to come out and do something fucking that's all over the fucking top, the proof in the pudding is going to be right there, right? Immediately with the action. But I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to show you what my ability is.
Yeah.
And that's what I've done completely in my life.
Right.
Whether it's in business or fucking my fight skills or bodybuilding or in my level of construction. I'm not at Williams level, but I'm there at that piece where I know what needs to get done.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm trying to tell you?
Yeah, the fundamentals.
But I think that what happens is a lot of people are in there like what I'm saying. They're like moonlighters, right? They can moonlight people. And they're talking. I could do this, I could do that, I could do that. And I'm sitting there like, I don't give a fuck what you're telling me.
Yeah.
Show me what you can do.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? If you're over there telling me, you know what, I've done this, I've done that, and there's nothing to show for it.
Watch, check this. Shout out to Gabe. He just sends me a text. He says, how come I never get to drive Jack's Lambos?
Yeah, see that?
We're talking about Gabe now.
Hey, Gabe. What's up, my boy Gabe?
I put him on blast. Sorry, Gabe, I had to do it.
Hey, it's
he doesn't call me anymore either, Gabe. You don't call me no
Gabe,
more.
no love.
You don't invite
what's
me to Las Lunas, dude. None of that stuff. So I don't know what's going on.
Hey, I gotta say, we're gonna bring Gabe up on this one. I love Gabe. Gabe, you were up there. One thing I've loved about Gabe's personality is that I was telling people, you actually know exactly what you're getting with Gabe, and you know what we do, and we got that fairity, and we know that at the end of the day, you're gonna get a very extreme, love, very passionate individual. And that's what I love about Gabe. And so, what's so funny is even like Kathy, right? I like to hang around with people that are going to make me better. And she's in the top fucking physical specimen. Holy shit, blow your fucking doors off, right? And talk about someone who just continues to do the hardest and looking the best.
Yeah.
And so, I think about that and I think, wow, you know what? There's certain those attributes you think about, wow, I want to get that from them. Or it sparks what you already knew in your mind what to do, and you just got to do it. You know what I'm trying to say about that bettering yourself?
Yeah. And that's the one thing. I mean, we're talking about moonlighting or, I could do this or blah, blah, blah. There's a story Aiden was telling me the other day. He's like, I'm doing this and then doing that. And I'm like, I don't care what you're telling me. It doesn't mean anything to me. And I played that speech by Art Williams, Just Do It. You guys heard that? I told him, look this up on YouTube and listen to it. I sent him the link, right? And then I was like, what are you saying you're going to do? Nothing. I said, yeah, exactly. Just deliver the result because no one cares. You know what I mean? And I'm not the person that I like hearing what people are going to do because 90% of the time they don't end up delivering the result.
I'm going to go 98.
Yeah. I'm not going to argue with you on that.
I'm going 98. It's all fucking shit.
Yeah, it's just dumb. You hear all this stuff and people are like, oh, yeah, I'm doing this and I'm making moves and I'm blah, 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 blah. And it's like, all right, well, you announced you launched a business last year and I haven't seen anything with it, so it almost, I guess, takes credibility away from you in general because then when it's in front of others, like let's say, for example, what happened at Super Bowl, we're all there and D's like, well, his kick is way more powerful than this one. You know what I mean? So it just gets funny and it's like, why did you put yourself in that situation? So
ultimately, based on skill levels in life, right? You really got to watch and at the end of the day, it's not a bad thing, but you have to be very aware of those seeds that even say a friend is trying to plant in your mind and you're like, no, I'm good where I'm at. And it's tough for a lot of individuals because it takes a lot of years, I would say, or maturity within yourself on knowing who you are to stand your ground and not make someone make yourself feel bad about yourself, right?
Yeah, or to blow it off your shoulders,
right.
And that's a conversation we had maybe a week ago,
when
someone was trying to cause something, and then you're like, "What do you think?" And I'm like, "Dude, honestly, it's not even worth your time. just who cares? Let it fly. And you're like, yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking too. And it's like when we get to that state and we're just like, nah, that's a chicken killing dog, is what I like to say, or whatever. It's a chihuahua barking at the fence. It's really not going to do anything. Probably a little annoying, but you have the resources to build a wall or make the dog just
let the fucking tank
roll,
baby.
Roll out, walk out, and who knows what happens to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when you can get to that state to just brush that crap off, or those stupid comments or little jabs, what I call them, to try to get at you or alter what you're trying to accomplish in life, that's when you're at an ultimate.
You just gotta. I think one of the things that I've mastered is I'm always happy for my friends, no matter what the level is. Like I'm just happy, like I don't care.
Yeah, that's true too. And I've witnessed both sides where people are almost jealous of it, and they're like, "Well, you should have done this and this," and it's like, "What do you mean? Freaking kid, this is badass." You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you? And then you'll see other people that are like happy for you, and then you see the people who are like, "Oh God," it's like those memes or quotes you always see. The person who look for the people who don't clap for you or something. I don't know what it is.
It says, look at the ones when you succeed that don't clap, like rejoicing your success.
Yeah.
But look at the ones that smile when you fucking fail.
Yeah, exactly.
Basically, right?
Exactly. Same thing. And this has been on my mind a lot now that Titan has launched, because I've had so-called friends before, right? And they don't support Titan at all, which is, I mean, it's not crazy, but it kind of like bums you out. You're like, oh, I thought we were friends, and you don't want to support my business. Or if you know someone, you're not going to go and say, oh yeah, Carson does this or whatever the case. And they're almost like wanting to just ignore it. And it's like, I know you see all my stuff. Like it is what it is, but that's just one thing we've always said. What is the profit in your own? You can't succeed.
You can never be a prophet in your own land.
Yeah.
But I'm going to tell you something. You know what you can be? You could be a motherfucking star. You know what I'm trying to say? You may not be able to be a prophet, but you could be a motherfucking star.
Yeah.
And you can shine so bright that it doesn't matter. At that point, they'll come around because it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, I tell people in my world, I know I'm the LeBron James, period. I don't give a shit. I'm going to fucking outwork you in every angle. What I do, it's a perfection. It's a masterpiece. Years and years of forging that sword in my craft. And so that's exactly it. And I think, but when people are trying to plant that seed and change who you are, or say, I don't agree with this, or I don't agree with that, or this, and you're sitting there thinking, well, fuck, that's my core being. Like, you ain't gonna change that about me.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? I tell people I got so many Christmases under my belt. If I didn't change them by the time I was 14, I ain't changing now.
Right.
It just is not going to do it. John, do you have any example like that?
I mean, I've seen that, just like that, where people, where if you see some successes or your kids see successes, they're not there to, I know they'd be there quickly to see you fall, but when you're rising up, they're not very supportive, so
they're not celebrating.
Oh no.
That's why when something bad happens, you get the call from everyone, right? Just because they want to know if it's true or what happened, or they want the scoop. And then if something good happens, you don't hear nothing.
Yeah.
And it's like,
it's
kind of weird. You know what I mean?
I've been, it's one thing I've been doing. I really like Sagebrush a lot, right? And there's this app they have, and it's like, take 13, I think it's like a minute, you can read the Bible in a year. And I took that on. There's a couple of YouTubes I watched. And one of the things that really stuck to my mind, there's this YouTube talking about one of the devil's greatest tools is gossip. And you actually bring yourself fucking a curse, almost, is the way I interpret it, is like bringing false witness. So if I'm out there trying to bring John down and I'm creating a false witness, then what happens is it fucking backfires. You can have like turmoil for 10 years. And I'm just giving you the gospel corner, Jack. It's not 100% intact because I haven't finished the series, right? But one of the things that I realized, that's happened to me a lot. Like I was in a situation where I made the paper and people are coming to me and I'm like, you know what? I don't give a fuck because I know what it is. This is what it is. Research the right shit. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
But people say, you don't care. So I don't give a damn because this is who I am. This is what I stand for. This is what I know what the outcome is going to be. And that's a fucking pissant. Right? That whole thing, lions don't lose sleep over the opinions of sheep.
Yeah.
You got to be able to take that stand.
Oh, yeah.
But the sheep are going to call, well, not even call it the sheep because sheep aren't even bad animals. It's something else, fucking hyenas. The hyenas are going to come out and basically say, you know what? I want to be able to see what I can bring you down from, or like what John's saying, they're not celebrating the success. they're sitting there quietly so that they can just say, you know what, fuck it, I'm waiting. Like a predator, right?
No doubt.
Yeah, waiting for you to fall or go
Right.
to sleep. You know what I mean? That's
A
what it
scavenger,
is.
not even a predator, because they don't have the balls to hunt you. They're just scavengers.
They're waiting for you to be weak. Yeah.
Yeah, waiting down. You're fucking there. They're gonna come and eat you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I get that. And that's what one of my favorite things that I talk about, and I've said on a few episodes, is Drake said his mom always would tell him about 72-hour rule, right? When something happens, you know, it pisses you off, and yeah, you want to go and lash out and see who did this or who said what, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, just wait 72 hours. And before you know it, someone else would have screwed up enough that everyone forgot what happened. You know what I mean? Before, because what tends to happen is people can blow things up way out of proportion with reacting. You know what I mean? Instead of just staying quiet, you know? So like the newspaper thing, right? Jack says, I know that what the truth is, it doesn't really matter to me. I don't care about what this says, because you knew what the truth was. And staying quiet leaves it at that. But if you would have come out and been like, I'm going to fight this and blah, 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 and then it becomes this big thing, you know what I mean? But you let it at that 72-hour rule and the fire's dead anyway. Someone else is already headlines in the newspaper on freaking Channel 7 or whatever the case may be. No one even knows what happened.
You have a Christina Vigil that she's with Tio Ray is listening with me.
Oh, awesome. That's a shout out to my pops. That's my cousin, my pops there. You know, we're here live. So, hey, Dad, what's up, man? That's one man in the Tommy lobby. Heavy. We got to hit him with the heavy. But absolutely, you know what Steve talked about is always being, you know, that positive mindset. And I said, not allowing the bullshit to get you. You know, I got to tell you stories of my dad's listening. One time he told me I was in Los Alamos and I came back fucking bitching and complaining about, you know, the work I was doing. He says, you know what? On Fridays when you go and cash that check, it's celebrations and smiles. So it doesn't matter what the individual says. Do you have a job? Yeah, keep your shit rolling.
Yeah.
You know, I also got the concept from him where he said someone hires you for $10 an hour, give him $12.50 worth of work. No one can challenge that, right?
Right.
It was funny because my mindset and who I am comes a lot from my father, but comes a lot from my mom, right? I have that very fucking stringent, get shit done, no excuses. No matter what it takes, just get it done. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get that. But with me too, like we're going back, a lot of people try to get stuff out of me too. And I'm just like, yeah, things are good. Things are good. Yeah, it's good. You know what I mean? Like that's all people get. Because what happens is someone goes and catches something you say, and then they go and mix it up with something, and then they're over here telling stories of blah, 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 this and that. You know what I mean? And a lot of it isn't even true. And that's the thing where you need to go learn where to put certain people, because probably whatever they're telling you about other individuals, what do you think they're telling those individuals about you as well on the other end? You know what I mean? And it's the same thing of knowing exactly where people are, because there's people I'll communicate with, right? And I know certain information I'm never going to tell them.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the greatest things that I fight every fucking day of my life, right? And there's a passage in the Bible that says, never answer a fool upon his foolishness. Holy shit, this is the one that I would say that's my greatest weakness every time, because when someone's dumb, my first reaction is I want to punch you in the mouth, right? But I can't punch you in the mouth, right? There's going to be a lot of trouble. But my second one is I want to just cut you down with my words. Yeah. Because, you know, I have a razor's edge when it comes to my words, right? And, you know, it's crazy because I get so much stupid shit that comes to me and I just want to slice you.
Yeah.
Right? And then I say, dude, and it's the crazy part is because someone will come in and want to do something positive and then they didn't go their way and then they want to turn the words and I want to really be like, you're a pissat, dude. Like, why would I even matter, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
But I have to hold myself with the 72 hours that you say, because I just want to come in and just slice, right?
Mm-hmm. And that's one thing I could say I've been blessed with to be able to have is I truly don't let stuff affect me. I don't know if it was last year I hit a certain maturity or whatever the case, but when I hear stuff, I'm just like, who cares?
Yeah.
Because if those people are paying my bills, then I may honestly care what they have to say. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you're going to pay my bills. That's cool.
Yeah.
I'll do whatever you want.
Yeah.
But if not,
How old are you now?
24.
So yeah, that's when your brain starts to usually fully develop.
Yeah.
And you stop letting the opinions of others drive your motivation. You know, I mean, they say the frontal lobe of the brain keeps developing until the age of 25. So I think
I'm gonna be 25 next month.
That's
so
what I'm saying.
Maybe that's
maybe it's the wisdom that you're starting to develop and that resilience.
Right.
You know, things that have made you tougher and brush those things off. You know, like the sharks that's fucking swimming around.
Yeah.
Those little fish are there nibbling them out, and fuck, they can give a shit. You know.
Right. Or like any watches or stuff. People, I'm like, no, it's a G-Shock. Don't worry about it. It's nothing. You know what I mean? Because I'm doing things in my life for me, if I'm being honest, you know, and that's like I've said on a lot of podcasts. I've been selfish lately, and I'm happy to admit that because I know I am. But I really don't care what people have to say. It doesn't bother me, and I'm not doing things to please anyone. I'm just doing my moral code, right? Doing what's right and practicing my integrity, and that's kind of just what it is. And that's why a lot of things when people are like, "Oh, so and so said this about you," and blah blah blah, and I'm like, "Well, cool, yeah." So-and-so did buy me the car then, if that's what they want to think. Yeah. Good for them. That's it. Yeah. Does that make them feel better? Like, no one ever bought me really anything in life.
Yeah.
But people are always trying to find, like, people say, oh, you know, Jack probably bought him this, or Joe did this for him, and they bought him that. And I'm like, yeah, sure they did. Yeah. Whatever story you want to have in your mind to make you happy.
Well, I'm going to let you know one thing. If you know one thing about me, I'm gonna buy you a fucking steak, but you better be ready to buy me a cheeseburger because it's what it is.
But that's what it is, and you get it all the time too, right? Oh, he probably rents those cars, blah blah blah. It's all the same stuff.
I had the funniest story.
Sure.
I gotta tell you a funny fucking story, man. Some individual told me, he says, I don't, that's not his money. People know that I get sometimes wild. I used to get wild on social media, and so someone says, well, that's not his money. He rents those cars, and I'm like, well, that's a funny fucking story because if I rented the cars, it's already been 4 years. So at that rate, I would have paid something over. Think about this. If I'd have rented the Aventador, that probably would have been about $7,000 a month, right? $7,000 a month for the last 4 years. Yeah, we did the math on right? Let's think about that. Let's throw the Performante in there. That'd be another $5,000 a month.
The G.
Let's throw the G-Wagon. That'd be another $7,000 a month, right? Let's throw my Bentley in there. That'd be another $5,000 a month. Right, let's throw the cheapest car I own is my Dodge Demon, $100,000. That would have run you an easy $2,500, $2,800 a month. Do the math. Yeah. So when I laugh when people say that, I'm like, well, that's cute. Renting or not, I must be generating the bread first when you do the monthly.
Hey, if you're renting that's
good. Either way,
you're spending more money than owning the damn thing.
Yeah,
that money,
but you see what I'm trying to say?
It's just funny, yeah.
And then it's like it's not his money. Well, I'm gonna sign up here. Anyone give me your money, I'll take it. Trust me, I don't want to make it. Like, whose money could it be?
Yeah,
you know what I'm trying to tell you.
That's why I'm saying too. When they tell me that stuff, I'm like, oh, if that's what they heard, for sure.
But at the end, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter to me because I just sit back, I laugh. Like one of the things, like when I told Carson when I first met him, I was very resilient since I was 17 because I had such a bullshit time growing up with the people around me, not my family. But even like in school and just the jealousy and the crap and the fucking bullshit that I think I had that resilience since I was like 17, 16. I really didn't give shit about people's opinions. They actually fueled me. It fueled me so that seed backfired on them, right? They tried to plant the seed and I decided to just take that seed and whatever's going to plant. And I made fucking lemons. I made lemonade out of lemons.
Yeah.
Right? If they try to plant bullshit apples, I made fucking apple pie. And I started selling the apple pie, and then it made money for me. So it's like I've taken those opportunities, but would you get to a point where you say, you know what, I just want to relax. Like I don't really give a damn, right?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
If you're in there and people, what's one of the crazy part? Me and Michael were talking about this. I get around people that are telling me, like, people know this. I'm still a very vain son of a bitch, right? Carson know this, and so I pride myself on fucking my looks, how I feel, where I want to be strong, speed, power, down to my fucking full hawk. And so so for me, when people are like, you know what, you get a point in your life where you just go out gracefully, and I'm like, that's fucking stupid. Because I'm looking at Michael Hearn, and I'm going out like Michael Hearn. Maybe not complete at his level, but I'm going there. I'm going out like Sylvester Stallone, watching him on Rambo. You're like, holy shit, I don't give a shit what it takes, but that's how I want to go out.
Yeah.
But they're trying to plant that seed because they're fucked up. Mm-hmm. And they want you to join the fucked up party. I call it the fucked up wagon.
Yeah, it's just like
I don't want to join the fucked up wagon.
Just take the easy route.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I want to be in the success wagon.
Right.
And the success wagon's hard. You got to get up
There's
early.
a heavy price to pay
Right?
for it, you know? And that's like me too. I was in a cushy position where I could have, you know, done the 9 to 5 and had a stable job, benefits, been making $100,000 a year till I was 60, retire, get retirement, and then, you know, spend whoever knows how long, even if I would have made it to 60 or made it to 70 or whatever, and just sailed the sea then. But it's like,
But you know what's crazy?
I'd rather see what I can actually accomplish, you know, rather than just being like, yeah, you know, I'll just live the traditional story and know where my life's going to be.
But I think, you know, even if you'd have been in that position, now that I've learned so much in the investment opportunities, if you're making $100,000 and you fucking take 1/3 of that money and you know how to invest it, compound, you'll fucking become a millionaire.
Mm-hmm.
For
I can agree
sure.
with that. Well, yeah, there was a GM over there. He
Yeah.
retired. I don't think he's actually retired, but he could have retired. He transferred out of state, and they were saying you could take this job or retire. And the shares that the company had gotten him, he was making like $1 million a year.
Yeah.
But for me, it was like, okay, I can work pretty much doing the same stuff all the time and wait until I'm 40 or 50 to get there, or I can try and do everything I can to get there in the next 10 years.
But I'm saying, I guess what I'm trying to tell you is that when you're a hunter, it don't matter where you're at. Like I always tell people, I would have never left the corporate world, me personally, because I was fucking killing it, right?
Mm.
My average salary was on my own $880,000 a year. I didn't give a shit.
Mm.
Making that $880,000 a year, plus what I do. I mean, I was quadrupling that on the side, right?
Yeah.
I had construction companies that I was funding. So like with my $880,000 a year, that really represented, think about this, let's do this mathematics. That really represented $6 million of buying power.
Oh,
Because it's 20%, right?
more than that.
So, but I'm going conservative in my
That's a
times.
lot of cheese.
You know what I'm
dude.
trying to say?
Yeah.
So it means I could transact $6 million of business a year. Because
Yeah.
it's guaranteed fuel. That's how the banks look at it. So what I guess I'm talking about is that, you know, I have the respect for the fucker that's doing that. But when you just got people talking, and I don't know why now at this level in my life, I just want to be like, I don't even want to hear your fucking story. What can you show me?
No, I get that.
Can you show me a loaf? Can you show me a building?
Mhm.
Can you show me even an old fucking supercar?
Yeah.
Can you show me something? No. So shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
You haven't done anything, right? Can you show me a PhD? So in life, there's a measurable,
Right.
right? If you're broke as fuck, but you say, you know what, dude, I'm a PhD in physics, I'm gonna tip my hat to you. I'm gonna say, holy fuck. Or you know, I'm a PhD in this, or I've done this, or I've done this academically, or I ran some papers.
Yeah.
But when you're just sitting there and saying, you know what, I'm so multifaceted, I have all these gifts, I can do this, I can do that. And what I want to be is you're fucking, you know what you are? You're Barbie. You're Ken Barbie. And you came out in a little milk carton. And today you're a fucking barber. Ken Barbie's in a fucking pink Corvette. And that's all you are. You're a co-pilot to whatever the next mainstream deal is. Be who you are. You know, it's so funny. Gabe texts you, and I like that. And I love that one about Gabe. Like he says, you know what? I'm a fucking roper. I'm a cowboy. I wore my pants 3 days of the week and all that. And he's fucking
Yeah, that's true. Because we try to get him to wear a suit. Oh, look, he texts me now. We try to get him to wear a suit, and he's all no, because I think me and Joe invited him to a gala a long time ago.
No, we all of us. We had that gala. Me and Joe got that table.
Yeah, he's all, I'm going in jeans, and or I'm not going.
Yeah, and he put on his shirt, but
and it was because you were telling him you need to get some swag.
But I love that. You know what I'm trying to say?
I have a PhD in hand digging.
Yeah, so you know,
hand digging.
And you know, you always tell me I'm the ditch digger, and it's crazy because that's one thing that I gotta say that I love about Gabe is he is who he is. Period. But he brings the fucking value. But the one thing we could sit there is you're like, that guy's got a heart of gold, right? Michael Montoya, fucking same thing, heart of gold. I know that at the end of the day, he's like, you know, I'm not the fancy dude, I'm not this, but I'm gonna do this.
Yeah.
And it's funny, but we all take care of each other, right? He called me up, said his cameras have gone down, and I figured all kinds of fucking clusterfuck, and we did it. He's like, holy shit! Now I could build a whole new office because everyone knows me. I just go balls to the wall. There is no cutting corners in anything. I'm a person. Call it a curse. I don't know. I'm just so meticulous. The smallest things will fucking bother me.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Right, my seed is just perfection. I want to perfect at everything. But when I look at something, whether I agree with them or not, I can sit there and say, "Fuck, this is what I absolutely, truly fucking respect about them."
Yeah.
And I gotta send out. I hope Gabe fucking sends a shout out. But I'm gonna tell you right now, his wife, motivates the shit out of me, because on that fitness level, just that dedication. So may be a pain in the ass, but I got to say, fuck, it's a motivation. Like, you know what I'm trying to say? You cannot fucking take that from anybody else. And I don't give a damn. And I was telling someone like, you know, what about this? So I said, you know what, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter, because you know what? That Lamborghini performs. And so for me, I can sit back and I can say, holy fuck, this person's more disciplined than me. And I was in that world. I'm going to tip my hat to them. Yeah. I'm not saying like, oh, well, they must be doing this, or no, they're fucking they're working harder than I am, and they want it harder than me. Yeah. But watch out, baby, because the engine's on, right?
No, I get that. And that's kind of in a point where I'm at, and we've talked about it before, where it's someone comes to me and I'm just like, cool, man, kill it. You know what I mean? And it's not like from a point of jealousy or hate or nothing. It's just like, cool, good for you. You know, here's what I'm doing. You know what I mean? And I don't even tell people what I'm doing is the thing. I'm just a total different, I guess, individual than those other people. You get what I'm saying?
And I think the thing about it is, like, I get a shitload of DMs, right? Mm-hmm. And people are saying, oh, I want this. And I'm like, well, have you done steps A through B? Yeah. And they don't do it. And they're all planting a bunch of fucked up shit.
Yeah. No, exactly.
And I'm like, dude, how can you find yourself that fucked up? Mm-hmm. I saw a Facebook, you know, it's funny as shit. I don't like really getting on Facebook too much. Like, I'll throw my post and then I don't really go to it because the feeds are so negative. Yeah. One of the feeds I saw today was like, please play we've been paid our electricity. And I'm sitting there, I'm thinking, what did you fucking do to get to that point? Right. Because, you know, I came from the bottom up, right? $12.50 an hour, killing it, you know, whatever it took. And I'm thinking, how many decisions bad decisions did you get to where they're turning off your power and your gas?
Yeah, exactly.
Unless you're handicapped or something bad. Sure. But I'm saying,
where you're totally incapable of it. No, I agree. It's actually funny. Yesterday, I said the same thing. There was this homeless man on the side of the road, and I'm parked right next to him at the red light, and he's like yelling at everyone, and he kind of comes up to the window, and he's like, I need some change. And I was just like, peace, dude. Like, what's up? Whatever. Move on. I'm not going to give you anything. And he gets mad, and he's like, this isn't an effing game. It's going to freeze tonight. And I'm just like, you know, it kind of pissed me off because I'm like, why are you yelling at me? First of all, because I'm not giving you money.
You're trying to force your hand.
Why am I, you know, we went snowboarding. We took the truck and everything. And I'm like, I'm 24 years old sitting in this position. What got you to the position you're in? Because I could have taken certain actions to totally screw it. I still can screw up my life. Yeah. But I'm not going to take those decisions. So I'm a firm believer, and we've said this before on the podcast, and some people don't like when I say it. That man in that situation, if he's healthy enough to be yelling at me, ranting at people, pointing his fingers, jumping up and down like a psycho, he's wealthy enough to go flip a damn burger at McDonald's and dig a ditch. You know what I mean? Yep. And for that's why it pissed me off, because he's mad that I'm not giving him money that I have to work for. We all have to work for something we want in life.
What's your take, John, on that specific situation?
On a micro level, I think it's justified to feel that way because, and maybe what that person is showing, that he doesn't have the capacity to cope with failure, and that could be probably a reason that he's probably not employable, because he can't handle rejection. Sure. He can't handle adversity, you know, and that's the sad part of our society, is that, I mean, when you have too many people and you have an economic system that's managed, you know, and I've been trying, because I got into an argument with my cousin last week, and he's like of that same ilk. Yeah. Well, everybody can work, you know, everybody can work. Well, okay, when you understand how a government functions and it manages its economy, because you can mark this down.
I get that.
You know, so that person's problem, you know, there are so many other issues that we don't know about them from that standpoint. Yeah. So like I say, at a macro level, that's how my answer at a macro level. But at a micro level, be like, fuck you too. Yeah, you know? Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, you know, it's tough for me because, you know, being an educator and trying to understand social studies and economics, I don't want, number one, I wouldn't want that person to be in that situation. But our society really doesn't do conducive things to help those types of people, you know?
No, I guess so.
You know,
and I guess for me, when I look at it, I had so much reasons to be play a victim, pull my victim card, or life's too hard for me, and so I'm just gonna be a crybaby and jump in the corner and hope someone gives me food or something.
And anytime I tell people that are almost envious of those people that aren't working or living on assistance, I mean, there are people out there. There are people that
I would never want to live off assistance.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
I know, but that's what I'm saying. But those people criticize those people, and I'm like, would you switch places with them?
Then why don't you go do it then? Exactly.
But you know what's crazy, John, about that? I want to put something to you. Me and you, seriously, we're very compassionate guys. Like when it comes to the heart, right? So is Winston, but what I come from, I learned from him is he grew up hard as fuck. And so he's like, if I made it, you made it. I grew up in the situation where I tell people, like, I got picked on a lot, right? When I was little, like extreme.
Yeah.
So people's not going to know what I went through when that psychological fucking shit. That's why I'll fight. Like people know, like, that, good writer and different. Like I'll fight. That's just one from my personality, right? And so you're never going to understand me if you never went through my shit. Yeah. So you're going to be like, well, that's fucking crazy. Why would he fight? Well, dude, you don't understand how I felt to a certain period of time where people brought such fear to me that I promised myself I'll never feel that fear again. So I don't give a hell, right?
Yeah.
And so I was telling a couple of my friends, and they didn't explain. I said, as a child, I realized two things in my life. Two superpowers as a human you can have is extreme strength and extreme wealth. Those two spidey powers are the most powerful fucking things subatomically. So if I have extreme wealth and I come in here, I'm not going to starve because I'm going to be able to pay Phil to feed me. If I tell Phil, you know what, dude, I'm going to give you $2,000 a month. I need breakfast, lunch, and fucking dinner. I guarantee he's going to do it for me.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
I'm not going to feel the coldness. I'm going to go down and I'm saying, I need this truck. Okay, it snowed. Fuck it. I need a 4-wheel drive today. No, I want a sports car tomorrow. No, I want a Lincoln so I can drive long distance. No, I want a Bentley.
100%.
You know what I'm trying to say? Now someone comes and says, you know what, I'm going to fuck with you. And I can punch right through you.
Yeah.
You ain't going to do it. So I learned those two things. And I was trying to explain to my friends, you can't change me. And so I don't rely on anybody. I only rely on my two spidey powers.
Yeah. And that's the best place to be because you never have someone saying, oh, remember that time? Or you owe me because I went in on this deal with you, or you only get this amount. You know what I mean? And you never have that. And that's one thing I could say my mom has always told me is she's always said, whatever you get it on your own.
Pull your fucking weight.
Yeah, exactly.
But again, you keep including a key component to that. You had a parent in your life
saying that
taught you valuable things.
That's true.
That taught you value. You talk about your mom and your father and how important your mom, what role, but do they teach you those things? And that becomes, okay, they watered that seed.
And that's a different perspective.
And they fertilized that seed. Now, you want a different perspective, go volunteer like at the homeless, the homeless shelter over the side, and you see adults there that are dragging kids along.
Yeah.
And are they watering that?
But this
seed?
is what pisses me off.
Or do they have the wisdom to tell them?
But this is what's fucked up.
Yes.
Is generational poverty, right?
Oh, no doubt.
But look, what's so funny, John? I'm going to use this, and I hope my dad's still listening. My mom didn't water the seed; she fucking pounded it.
Oh, no, yeah.
I like this. I'm gonna say, you know what I'm trying to say. I like when people says, "Oh, I didn't get fucking nurtured." One thing I loved about growing up with my mom,
or you think of it, or like an animal. I mean, you can let that whatever that horse, if you want that to be a thoroughbred, that horse just standing there sitting in a pen isn't going to be a champion.
No.
Unless you work that some bitch out, So it doesn't matter what the potential is. It's what are you going to put into it? Yeah. And just like, you quote your mother that she did this. Well, you had that.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
No, I get what you're saying 100%.
And so sadly, in a perfect utopia, everybody has those situations. Everybody has perfect influences in their life that nurture them and create the nature for them so that they can grow up strong, grow up wise, grow up ambitious. But sadly, at a macro level, it just and you know what? Ironically, we couldn't function. Our society couldn't function if everybody was built that way.
Oh yeah, because I remember that's one thing I'll always remember John teaching me in class in high school is he says, there needs to be people who are living on the system, and there needs to be people who are freaking the billionaires of the world, and there needs to be the mid class. There has to be those three levels, in order for society to fully function.
But I think at the end of the day, what we don't want is we don't want imbalance, right?
Oh no, yeah, you don't want to have skies apart. That's
No.
and that's because that if you travel to anywhere outside of America or outside of a developed nation, you go to fucking countries in Africa or even just cross the border in Mexico. Man. I mean, there are billionaires in Mexico, but then there are the poorest of the poorest
living in tents.
There's no middle.
Yeah.
You know, it's so funny. John, so I'm walking a house development, right? And so, I buy a bunch of properties out in Mexico. And this guy's driving me in his Beamer and we're rolling in the back and fucking my girl's sitting in the back and she doesn't even fucking see. And so the guy says, I look up and there's like these little shacks. And this is what he tells me. I look over and he says, well, just so you know, they got bathrooms and all kinds of shit. And I'm thinking, you just by mentioning that to me, I'm knowing that the living conditions ain't worth a fuck. And we're living in mansions. We're not talking PBR and shit, right? Mm-hmm. And right there in my mind, I'm thinking, you're explaining to me, telling me, and this is what I'm saying.
Trying to justify why it's good.
But you know what's crazy? Because they know that I'm compassionate, right? And they think, well, this is going to fuck up the deal. So I don't give a fuck if you have a running bathroom. When I look at it, literally had what I call the 3-wall syndrome, right? 2 sides, a rear, open front, right? And I'm thinking, fuck, these guys who are building these big old developments. And to them, don't get me wrong, they have a job and they may have done it, but it sucks living in those societies.
Yeah.
Here, I don't give a damn. The poorest person is not poor here.
Yeah, no doubt. Because I mean, you look at the statistics. What half the world's population lives on less than $2 a day, and then another 25% lives on less than $1 a day, and that includes housing, medical expenses, transportation, food. So they're just living on these subsistent things. That's why Americans. Yes, I mean it's a great country. Can it be better? Absolutely, and we're going to get there. And we're going to continue to make progress. But you can't, and just like you talked, middle, you have to have a middle. So how do you create a middle? Well, you create a middle with education. You give an opportunity for somebody that can change that abject poverty into a success story. Now, does it work for everybody? No. And it's
right.
Not created that way too.
Right. That's why it's very hard to be extremely successful, And
it should.
Yeah.
And it should because it keeps people innovative and it keeps people hungry, So, but by the same token, that's why I always just tell people when we study the isms, we're a capitalist society, but we have an asterisk there because if we were true capitalism, well, then there would be no public schools. There would be no public roads.
Public anything.
No, there'd be no public anything. So people right now in Texas, they're facing there'd
be toll roads everywhere.
Exactly. Yeah. And there'd be private schools everywhere, and there'd be private security. You wouldn't have law enforcement.
Exactly.
You would have exactly what you have in the other
private
100
everything.
You would have in the other 148 shit countries out there that haven't figured it out or haven't fought for democracy yet. Don't have those.
No,
things.
They don't. You're right. You're 100% right.
But do those things can disappear if you let them happen?
Yeah.
So somebody like Bezos, and he's brought this amazing product to us. But then you say, you know what? Fuck you. You're going to be a billionaire. Well, you're going to pay a huge percentage back into society. Plus, you're going to play your workers.
Yeah.
So that we can have middle class. So you can be super rich and contribute back into society.
What was the statistic? I think they were saying like Bezos can give every family in the world like $5,000 or something and still have like 100 million to live on.
I know. Yeah.
But what's great? The crazy part about that is so beautiful is that, it's kind of like, when I go up in Mexico and I meet all these little guys and, I try to give them like nice size fucking tips because at the end of the day, I'm like, I know I'm doing something in their lives. Is they're going to break my bank? No. But I really believe, one of the next podcasts we want to focus on, I'm going to get to the clips, is that whole thing about Denzel Washington said, the greatest thing you'll ever feel is when you're giving. And he talks about that as so strong, right? And I truly believe that portion. But you got to get to a level to give, and you got to be able to give on your own reconnaissance, not where someone's trying to fucking bait you and take you.
Yeah.
And that's where people get everything all fucking mixed up.
That's where you can end up in a bad situation.
Yeah. And I'm not going to, and I tell people, you know what? If you're starting to be frivolous and you're not watching the small things, you're like, oh, fuck it, I'm not going to do this. All of a sudden, you're going to be getting fucked on the big things. Because in martial arts, in boxing, you will ask me. So one of my old coaches, he was a pro boxer, and he would say, what are the 3 weapons in boxing? And so people started getting like, whoa, no, this is very simple. It's the jab, straight, and an uppercut, right? Period. That is your 3 ultimate weapons, or you can call it a hook. It doesn't have to be an uppercut. Mm-hmm. When you think about that, if you master those 3 things, you're going to be fucking deadly. Then everything else comes into it, the footwork. Yesterday I was talking about Tai Chi, right? And how Tai Chi works and the movements of Tai Chi. Very similar to boxing. So when you learn, if you're open to learning, you know about all those different levels of fundamentals, they're all the same. They all say the same thing. But ultimately, what we want to end today with, look, on the truth is be careful with the seeds that people are trying to plant with their own agendas in your mind, in your heart, whatever. Don't let them prosper. At the end of the day, be your own fucking man, whoever you want to be, or be your own woman, and don't feel bad because who you are. And if you're seeing success in your life, continue to do what you do, and don't let people try to throw you off your kilter, I call it, right?
Yeah.
Second is, watch those people that are planting those seeds out there on your behalf and see what the fucking agenda is, because nobody that's truly in your camp is going to plant a seed out there and say, how do you do that for this person? I couldn't do that. Because then what are you saying? Well, no one's fucking asking you. So be careful with those people. And I'm going to tell you right now, mic check them. You have someone in your life, you mic check them and say, you know what? I've let this slip because at the end of the day, you're the one that's going to be dumb, because bad behavior cannot be rewarded. You have to check bad behavior. And you have to tell people how you're going to be treated and how you're going to run. And if they don't like it, you got to be able to hold the line. And I always talk about holding the line. So that's what you got, folks. That's the truth. Tune in next Tuesday. Glad to have you back.
Yes,
Peace.
sir. See you guys next week.
And a little shout out here now that the governor's loosened the restrictions on dining, right here at the grill on San Mateo, 3300 San Mateo, here located in the shopping center. Here in the corner, come in, you can sit. We have indoor dining now. You can always do carry out, but we definitely want to support Phil here at the grill. So, and I've been running the phone number there, 505-872-9772 here at the grill.
So come back, sit down. And so, we're going to do some cool stuff here. Now I'm thinking about this. So definitely let's support Phil and let's come back. All right, guys.
Excellent. Thank you, guys.
Harmonix Technologies, your New Mexico business IT solution. With incredible products that will fit your needs both big and small, and unmatched service, it's your vision delivered. Learn how we can help your business roar into action today. Harmonix Technologies, your New Mexico business IT solution.